This is Rigatoni alla Makhani, a riff on a classic Italian-American dish, penne alla vodka. It's a dish that I fell in love with during my time in New York, and with starting this channel, I really wanted to kind of create like an Italian-American Indian dish. So this is kind of that brainchild or experiment that came to fruition. Takes the best of both worlds, a little bit of makhani, a little bit of vodka sauce, and creates this pasta. And so I'm gonna show you how to make it. 30 grams ghee, 1 inch cinnamon, 2 cardamom pods, 2 cloves, 150 grams white onion, 20 grams garlic, 1 teaspoon ginger paste, 60 grams tomato paste, 200 grams Roma tomato, 1 teaspoon Kashmiri chili, 1 teaspoon garam masala, 1/8 teaspoon turmeric, half a cup heavy cream, 2 tablespoons butter, half a teaspoon kasoori methi. We're gonna start by chopping up the onions and tomatoes and garlic. These just have to be rough chopped only because we're gonna be blending them after they go into the pan. I'm gonna start with that here first. So I'm shooting at 120 frames per second, 4K. ZV1 actually overheats a lot at those settings. That said, we're gonna get back to chopping up this tomato. To recap, chop the onions, chopping the tomatoes. Can just be a rough dice. And then finally we got our garlic. I'm lazy, I hate peeling garlic. H-E-B actually has a lot of good peeled garlic. So that's just what I'm gonna use for this recipe. I used about 20 grams, a handful of cloves. We've got our garlic, we got our onions, and we've got our tomatoes. So we're gonna hop over to the stove over there. I'm gonna switch up my camera angle, and we're gonna cook this. We're gonna put a pan on medium heat. We're gonna add our 30 grams of ghee. Once that's up to temp, we'll add in our whole spices. Honestly, should have waited for the ghee to heat up a little bit more, but it is what it is. Sweet, so I can actually see that there's little bubbles forming around the whole spices, especially around the cinnamon. Just a quick blooming of the spices. We're gonna drop in the onions. So cook this till it's about golden brown, probably about 5 to 8 minutes. We'll let that cook for a bit. Forgot to mention that we'd actually add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt to help the onions sweat. The onions now have a nice golden color to them, so I'm gonna add in the garlic. Also gonna do the 1 teaspoon of ginger paste. Now that these have cooked a little bit, I'm adding in our tomato paste because we wanna get this a little bit of browned before adding in the actual tomatoes. And it's okay if you're starting to see things kind of sticking to the bottom of the pan, because when we add the tomatoes, they will release some water that will essentially deglaze the pan for us. I'm gonna actually add in my tomatoes right now. So do that. I'm gonna add in my Kashmiri chili here. Also gonna add in my garam masala and my 1/8 teaspoon of turmeric. This honestly is looking a little dry to me, so I might actually add a little bit of water in here. All right, yeah, there we go. That's the kind of texture I was looking for, kind of this pasty, almost texture. We also got most of this pan deglazed with that water. So this is starting to look really nice. I'm gonna give that maybe about 3 minutes to cook. Let out some oil, and then we'll take it off the heat. I'm gonna transfer this into a little bowl for me to cool down so that I can blend this. Really use a different spoon, but honestly, I don't want to do extra dishes. So here we are. I'm gonna set this aside, let it cool down. I'll catch you guys back here, right back at this pan after I blend it. All right, so we're gonna heat the pan again, put it on medium heat. I switched up the angles because I realized that this big ass watch was actually blocking a lot of the cooking over here. Just gonna drop this in, start adding in the cream now. Heavy cream needs to be added in slowly, and I've reserved some pasta water over to the side. No pasta sauce is complete without its pasta water. All right, some more cream. And this is starting to look real yummy. We're gonna add in some pasta water. I'm gonna also add in some of that fenugreek or kasoori methi. And then we're gonna finish it off with 2 tablespoons of butter, as they do for vodka sauce, to kind of emulsify and give it that glistening and creamy texture. Add in the pasta water, so grabbing it over here. The good thing is, even if you add a little bit too much water, because this has heavy cream and it's got all the other ingredients that we create the paste, this kind of thickens up really quickly as it cools. So given all the sort of fats in it, can't really, I mean, you can make it too watery, but don't worry if you add a little too much. All right, I think that's at the kind of consistency I want it. I'm gonna add in my kasoori methi here, and I'm just gonna, there we go, break it up. Perfect. Drop in my 2 tablespoons of butter. There we go. Should melt down pretty quickly. To be honest, this is probably one of the tastiest things I made. If it didn't have 10 billion calories in it, I would eat it all the time. But as an Indian, I have high cholesterol, and so this is not ideal for me. It's looking very nice here, very luscious. I'm just gonna go grab my pasta, which I drained. All right, now mix it all up. And there you have it. Honestly, pasta to sauce ratio is a little off here, but that just means make more pasta. I'm gonna plate this, do some cool shots, and there we go.